How to not screw up your interview in a few simple steps.
So I just did a prep session for a guy that's going into his second PA school interview. The first one went okay, not super great, and he was waitlisted. And he wanted to know maybe what he's doing wrong, how he can make sure that he really gets an acceptance out of his second interview. And after talking to him and doing a few kind of scenario and sample questions, I realized this guy had two problems. One was the content. He was going way too short. His responses were like 1 minute, which is entirely too short, especially for an MMI. And two, his vibe, he just seemed nervous. He didn't seem well prepared. He didn't seem confident, wasn't warm and engaging. He seemed kind of like deer in the headlights, like surprised by everything. And that is not really a vibe that inspires confidence in your interviewers or in your patients. So what I really wanted to do was work on two things with him since he has 2 weeks until his next interview. One, content. I'm going to show you my interview prep guide, which is going to show you exactly how to prepare for any kind of question. And two, once you have that down, the vibe. You have to be engaging, warm, likable. You want the interviewers to like you and trust you to work with patients.
So let's talk about this interview prep guide. Now, this is the Google Doc version, but this is on our website, personalstatementpros.com. personalstatementpros.com under downloads, and then you can go ahead and download not the strategy guide, but right here, the interview prep guide. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, the downloadable interview prep guide. Of course, the strategy worksheet is also on here, but that's going to be more for the winter and spring. Right now that it's interview season, it's the prep guide all the way. So what does the prep guide include? First things first is just a little bit of what's going on as far as your prep, what to expect. Second, it's going to be broken down into a few different questions that I really want you to answer. Third, it's going to be how to talk about scenario and ethical questions, which are kind of a sticking point. And then we go into very exquisite detail about how to answer, how to prepare a good response to each of these basic questions. And then it's how to apply those answers to virtually any kind of question you could possibly be asked. That is the interview prep guide. Then, also, if you thought that wasn't enough, then we actually talk about how to apply this thing to various different questions with examples. I show you exactly how I would answer a bunch of different questions, and then how to extrapolate those skills into answering any kind of question. And then, even more important than that, how to work on the vibe, how to make yourself more warm, engaging, likable, easier to listen to, how to actually be an interviewer how to be an interviewee that the interviewers really remember and just have a good feeling about. All of this is broken down step by simple step in this 15-page guide that has taken me years and years of experience to come up with.
And now I want to share that guide with you. So I've been doing this for over 6 years now. As soon as I got into PA school, I started counseling and mentoring people on also how to get in, just because I had such struggles getting in, fixing a low GPA, being a non-traditional applicant, knowing nothing about the process. All of that experience, and after years and years of helping people and hearing all these different stories and seeing all these mistakes and talking to interviewers and adcoms and program directors, I have finally come up with this 15-page guide that will help you prepare for your interview from the ground up, even if you feel like you're totally not ready, you have no interview skills. If you put in the work, this guide will get you to that level of being a very good interviewer. Now, of course, if you want a mock interview, that's a whole different level. That's me personally working with you, but it's much cheaper and much more efficient to just do it by yourself, and that is what this guide is for.